Welcome to the QandA program webinar. We're taking this opportunity to answer some frequently asked questions about the QandA program. We believe this webinar will better explain what the QandA program is all about. Thanks for joining us. So joining us today are Pat Kennedy, QandA MS nurse educator, Kevin Walter, a past participant of the QandA program, and Dave Williams, also a past participant and support partner who attended the QandA program. First, I'd like to introduce Pat.
It's so nice to have you all joining us. As Maureen said, I am the nurse educator for QandA MS. I have also been working with the QandA program for the past 25 years as a nurse practitioner and participating in the programs that we have put on through the QandA organization. For that same 25 years, I also have worked as a nurse practitioner solely in the field of MS. So this is my practice, and this is where my passion lies. I now live in Virginia and am working from home to do the work that I do. I remain quite active in the MS community, both as a speaker and a consultant.
All right, Kevin, you're next.
Hi folks, my name is Kevin Walter. I'm from Pagosa Springs, Colorado, currently from Northern Illinois prior to that, and I was a QandA graduate of the October 2010 in Vail.
Great, and Dave.
Hi everybody, this is Dave Williams. My wife and I both live in the Denver area. We're born and raised here. My wife has been diagnosed with MS since 1990. We were high school sweethearts. We've been married for 38.5 years, and we attended the QandA seminar also with Kevin in the October of 2010.
Great. Thanks, everyone. And before we get started into the question and answers, I just wanted to talk a little bit about QandA multiple sclerosis for those of you who are new to the organization. QandA MS is an innovative provider of lifestyle empowerment programs for people living with MS and their support partners. We're the start of a whole new way of thinking about and living with MS. QandA MS empowers people to move beyond their MS by giving them the knowledge, skills, tools, and confidence to adopt healthy lifestyle behaviors, actively co-manage their disease, and live their best lives. So today we're talking about the QandA program, which is our flagship 4-day program. And with that, let's begin the Q&A session. So the first question, what is the QandA program?
This is Pat, and I'll answer that as best as I can. It's kind of a hard question to answer. It is a program that is very individually based and individually designed. Even though you participate in this program with other people, each person is addressed as that one individual person or that one individual support partner. It shows people living with MS how they can live their best life with MS. I think sometimes it's difficult to see how that life could be better when you're kind of in the depths of it. And so our program helps you to see what kinds of steps you might take, what kinds of measures you might do that you can improve the life that you're living in spite of having MS. This program addresses a wide variety, a total picture of your health. It addresses your physical, your emotional, your social, your intellectual, and your spiritual needs. And without all of those sort of in an equal value in your lives, things get off kilter. And that's what we try to do in this program, is try to bring them all together for a more complete picture of who you are and who the person you're living with MS is. This program also provides knowledge and skills and support that allows a transformation from the challenges that people experience with MS into instead the possibilities that are out there that people could embark upon.
That's a great answer, Pat. Thank you. The next question that we get regularly is, why do people come to the QandA program?
And again, the answer is as individual as the people who come to the program. Everyone has different needs and different issues when they live with MS. So this is not a cookie-cutter kind of a program. But regardless of what the needs and issues are in that individual's life or in that individual family or support system, all are seeking better ways to know about and manage MS for themselves. And so it's different for everyone, but yet there's a sameness to it as well. People with MS and their support partners are at these programs able to explore the possibilities that are available to them. And that's another beauty to it. It isn't a short 15-minute appointment. This is in fact a 4-day program where there is lots of time and there are many opportunities where people can delve into those issues that have really been a sore spot for them and be able to find out more about that. Every person attending the program is individually assessed. So everyone is not equal coming into the program, and we have to find out how people are managing their MS when they first come to the program. And then from that point forward, we individually construct the program around what their needs and desires are.
Great. And Kevin, I'll open it up to you. Why did you come to the QandA program?
Well, Maureen, I came to QandA to learn how to live my life with MS to the fullest. I'd reached a place in my life where I was kind of stuck. I didn't know how to proceed. I wasn't getting the benefit from working out that I should be. My weight loss had stalled. I was irritable. I was becoming antisocial. I was empty and unfulfilled and becoming depressed, and I needed to find my way, really. And that's why I came. My doctor suggested I look into it, and I did.
Great. And thanks, Kevin. And Dave, why did you and Luann attend the QandA program?
Luann was we were high school sweethearts. She was diagnosed in 1990, and it was kind of mild as our children were younger, and it got worse. And I retired, and MS truly impacted both of us. I mean, I say in all my MS letters for the MS bike tour that Luann's diagnosed, but in reality we both have it. We found out about it, and we thought it was something we both needed to help each other and to help our marriage.
Great, thank you. The next question that we get pretty regularly is, some people hear about the individual consults that happen at the program. What does this mean, and who do I get to meet with?
Well, it's a really good question. I think people can't envision how many professionals are present at the program, and therefore it's hard to sort of imagine being able to talk to all these people. But as I said before, we assess everyone coming into the program as to what their individual needs are. And as we determine those needs, then we're able to suggest to that individual, we have these various professionals here at this program. You have this opportunity at the program to have a consult, to have a meeting, to spend time with the professionals that are present. And all those questions that, previously you may not have had the time or even knew to ask, the professionals are there and you're able to talk with them. So not everyone sees every professional because perhaps for them the need isn't there. But for those that have those needs, those professionals are there. And our individual consults involve professionals in the list that you see in front of you now. And this includes, of course, our rehabilitation specialists, such as physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech-language pathologists. We have exercise physiologists, dietitians, nurse practitioners, urologists, and neurologists, psychologists, and we have physical medicine and rehabilitation physicians. So all these people are there. They're there both for formal consults, but they're also there for meals, and they're there hanging around in the hallway so people can stop them and talk with them and get their questions answered.
Great. And Dave, when you attended the QandA program, what consults did you find particularly informative or useful?
Well, Pat just mentioned psychologist, and Luann and I got an hour session with a psychologist, and we both had some questions. Her question about me was that I worry too much about her falling. We went in 2010. In 2009, Luann fell 23 times in 1 year. Now, I told you I retired early. I was with the Denver Police Department for 37 years, and as a police officer, I found people in their homes that had fallen, nobody found them, and they were dead. So I had a personal experience about worrying about that. So that is one thing that we talked about. Another thing that we talked about was we love each other. We've been married a long time, but it's hard on us, and we kind of get after each other. So I played football in grade school and high school. I coached football. So the psychologist said, well, is there something you can do to kind of warn each other? So I came up with the idea of making a penalty flag. I got a couple of red balls. I put them in yellow flags, and they're on top of each side of our headboard. And if one of us goes over the line, we throw a penalty flag. So that was something that truly helped us. I can't express how powerful and impactful this event was. We have never been to a marriage encounter, but when people ask us about MS, my wife says QandA MS is a conference. It's like a marriage encounter for couples that have MS.
Great. Thanks, Dave. I like that idea of the penalty flag.
Thank you. We've only thrown them once.
Yeah, that's good. And
good.
Kevin, what about you? What did you get out of the individual consults?
Well, at the time I came, I was having several different problems, from bladder to mental cognizance to being able to write because of loss of hand function. And I met with these different specialists on all these different things. And I'm using the stuff that they taught me to this very day. They've helped me, overcome some of the bladder issues I had by the things they taught me. The muscle spasticity, they evaluated my legs and found out that I needed a medication dose change, which I didn't know, and I don't have an MS doctor out here where I live, so I would have never found that out. They helped me with being able to write. They showed me different types of pens to use because I was having problem writing legibly, and footwear because I was having problems walking. One of the PTs from Pennsylvania that was assisting us showed me about a new style of shoe that helps me walk better and not stumble as much. So I learned a lot from all of these consults, and they're very important.
That's great. Those were two really good answers, and I think are particularly important considering the fact that we say this is an individualized program, and both of you came out of it with definitely individualized and personal experiences. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
The next question we get pretty regularly is, what are the topics that are covered in the lectures throughout the program? And a lot of people feel like they know about MS already.
Well, I'll talk about that. I think a lot of people who live with MS do know a lot about MS, and that's because they have spent a great amount of time since their diagnosis learning about this disease that has entered their life and sort of taken over. I think it's impossible to ever know everything, first of all, but secondly, where we kind of sneak in is to fill in the blanks between what you know about MS and then what do you know about your general health. And we are as interested in people living a healthy life and healthy lifestyles as we are about how just to specifically manage MS. So you can come in with all different levels of knowledge and understanding about MS itself or even about your general health. But I can assure you that no matter what level you come in to the program with, you will leave with additional information. Some information is repetitive, but it all isn't repetitive. But we add to that you're there in the presence of a group of people all living sort of the same life that you are. And I will tell you, in my long experience, that the people who are there with you in these programs give you as much information as you may get from the professionals who are there at these programs as well. Because I think it takes someone who's kind of walked the road to sometimes have the best ideas about how do you manage this? How do you include this in your life so that you have a better quality of life? So those are things that you learn at these programs. And the other thing I mentioned previously was that, you may attend a lecture, you may attend a workshop, and you may learn what you learn. But the beauty is that, you ponder that for a while, and then you go to breakfast or you go to lunch, and there sits the person who gave that lecture, and you're able to say, you talked about this, but let me ask you another question. And so you're able to expand upon the information that you were given.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. That's awesome.
Great. The next issue that we'll address has to do with the exercise component of the program. And we received kind of a wide range of questions, so I'll just kind of read through some of the major ones, and then Pat, we'll start with you to sort of sift through these answers. One is, what if someone who comes to the program exercises all the time already, and how will this portion of the program be of any value to them? And then we get some people who don't exercise at all or in a long time, and is the emphasis on exercise inappropriate for someone like that? Or we also get some people who have no desire to exercise or to include it in their goals for the program, and how does this exercise piece fit into all of these potential participants?
Well, it's a wonderful question, and it has been a strong emphasis of our program since the start of our program. And we work individually with every participant to sort of see where they are in that whole series of questions. Is this someone who's an experienced exerciser versus someone who really doesn't care about exercising for themselves? So we do work individually with them, and if they're already an exerciser, then we try to improve upon whatever it is they're doing. Add things that they may not have known about, take into account some of the things they experience as a result of MS, and how can you compensate for that in your regular exercise program. So even if you are someone who exercises on a regular basis, there is always something more you can learn. If someone comes to the program and has not been an exerciser either ever or for a long time, partially because of the MS, maybe some disability that comes about because of the MS, then we are able, through our professionals, to demonstrate appropriate exercises for individuals who are either just starting or having to overcome some disability issues. And the beauty of this is that it isn't just during this 4 days that we do this, but in fact we talk about, okay, now after you leave this program and you return to your home, to your community, what do you have available to you in your community, and how can you access that so that we can put together a program of exercise that you can then follow through with once you get home. Sometimes, no matter what we might say is how good exercise is for people, there are some people who just simply that is not what they're interested in, and that's fine. You get to choose. And we discuss it nonetheless because we do feel the information is helpful. But we can also back off and understand that when a person this isn't what they want to do, we can say, fine, just keep this information in your mind, and if you change your mind, this is always something you can go back to.
Maureen, this is Dave. If I could add on to what Pat said, which is incredible. I've been a jock my whole life. I went to all-boys Catholic high school, and when Lan and I met, she's not a jock, and she's not into exercise. However, through the MS Society, and I do a lot of fundraising through the bike tour, we met a personal trainer that trains people with MS. And Luann she's not an exerciser. She just doesn't, it isn't in her makeup. But we go there, and Luann actually works hard, and I see her, she's improved, and so I totally agree with Pat. Again, being a former or a current jock, I still ride a ton. I really think exercise is important, and my wife is getting it. She's not all the way there, but she's getting it.
That's great. I'm so glad to hear. And I know, Kevin, exercise is a big part of your life. If you want to talk a little bit about the exercise component of the QandA program, that would be great.
Sure. I was given some wrong advice by the neurologist that diagnosed me 6 years ago. She said I shouldn't exercise because I was obese at the time. I weighed 355. I was newly diagnosed with MS, and I was extremely fatigued. And I guess the school of thought then was it would just fatigue you more and you wouldn't recover. Well, I went like that for about a year. And then I started to go to the gym. The PTs got me in the gym, but I was going about 2 or 3 days a week and doing a kind of a minor routine on machines, a few reps here, a few reps there, and some treadmill stuff. But I lost some weight and everything, but I got to a place where I just couldn't get any further, and I was really frustrated. Then I came to QandA, and they were talking about the safe limits and everything. Well, I didn't even know about safe limits, what my safe limits were. Well, they put me on a treadmill, and they had me do some cardio stuff, and they formulated an opinion about how far I could push myself so I knew my limits and I didn't overextend myself. And they gave me recommendations as to how, because I wanted to do more, so they gave me recommendations on how to do that and still stay safe. So that's what I learned from them in the gym. They were very helpful, and I was able to take what they taught me and what they recommended and input it into my workout, and it made a big difference. I learned basically from them, how far I could push myself, when to back off, and how to get the most out of what I do, and how to get the most out of my muscles and still take care of them.
That's great. And then, Pat, the next question for you is, what other exercises do we teach at the program?
Well, one of the fun things, I think all of the exercise components are kind of fun. One of our big components is hydrotherapy. And we have a physical therapist who is actually world-renowned hydrotherapist specialist, and she comes to our programs faithfully, and people are able to do things in the pool that they would never be able to do on land. And she is able to help them see that, help them experience that, and then able to help guide them to their community where they might be able to have that similar experience once they return home. We also do some work with exercise balls, and I know lots of people have seen them. They're advertised on TV, but I think people don't really understand how much of an exercise program you can really achieve on an exercise ball. So that's another thing, and you get to try those balls at the program, so you get to try it before you buy it, and it's kind of fun, and people say, oh my gosh, if I'd only known this, it would have been so much simpler. And then each person, those who are interested in exercise, have the opportunity to work with a physical therapist in designing a home exercise program, just individualized to them. And then they're given directions on how, once you have achieved this level, how can you then change it and move it up to the next notch. So those are some of the areas that we bring exercise alive.
Great. Thank you, Pat. Kind of moving on, switching gears a little bit, the next question has to do with the support partner piece. And our website says that support partners are encouraged to attend. And who is a support partner?
It's a great question because I do think this is one of the most commonly asked questions. Support partners can be. They can certainly be within the family, spouses and partners, parents and siblings, but they can also be friends and cousins and neighbors. They can be anyone who is part of the support system of that individual with MS, and someone who cares about them, someone who can lend them support not only at the program but after they return home from the program, because they are learning as much during the program as the person living with MS, and that learning then is spread out through the entire support system. So everyone in the family, everyone in the support system shares in MS, and Dave, you mentioned that earlier, that it's not just Luann's MS, it's your MS too, and it's your kids' MS, it's everybody's MS. And support partners also have that unique opportunity to understand more about what it's like to live with MS. And they get to actively participate along with their loved ones. They get to actively participate in identifying what skills are needed, strategies, and tools that are needed to live fully with MS together so that life can move forward.
Great. And Dave, we'd love to hear about your experience being a support partner at the QandA program.
Well, as I said earlier, Luann and I met when we were juniors in high school, so we've been together a long time. She wasn't diagnosed with MS till we had been married like 13 years, and then at that time it was relapsing remitting, so it wasn't too severe, and I think God looked over us because our kids were young. Her MS really didn't get worse until the kids were grown and gone, and then she got into secondary progressive, and she's had a couple seizures. But I think I got as much out of QandA as Luann did as a support partner, because first of all, I realized I'm not the only person in the world that's dealing with a spouse or a kid that has MS. So the support partners, the participants are the people that have MS, and then the support partners are, most of the cases it's a spouse, but at our seminar, a couple cases it was a sibling, and we got to bounce around a lot of different things and talk, and it made us look and see and acknowledge that we aren't alone in this. And we've been married a long time, and MS has truly impacted both of us, but like I said earlier, the QandA MS was an incredible weekend. It wasn't for her, it was for us, and even though her MS has even gotten worse since then, I honestly believe that it helped the two of us deal with it. And I'm well aware, we do a lot of MS stuff, but I'm well aware that, in this country with our disposable society, divorce rate is extremely high, but with people with chronic diseases, especially MS, the divorce rate is even higher. And Luann and I absolutely love each other. We stick together, and I think QandA and other things have helped the two of us stay together. And I have to do now, with catheterization and other functions for her that when I was 19 and I married her, I never thought I'd have to do. But you know what? It's just the way it is, and I don't feel burdened. I don't feel picked on. I feel that, you know what? I love her, and I can help her, and I can do this, and it does not hurt me. It's I don't really like it, but you know what? I gladly accept it.
Right. That's a great answer. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Right on, Dave.
And the next question for you, Pat, I know we touched a lot on this, but what else will the support partners actually gain from attending the program?
Well, support partners come in and meet actually as a group of support partners. So it's a mishmash of all the people who count themselves as support partners, and it gives them an opportunity to address issues that arise when MS is in their lives. And so it's different for everyone, but they're all in this group together, and they're all able to share the sort of things that they have had to face in their lives. But they're also going to be able to join in with the lectures and the workshops and the general learning sessions so that there's a greater understanding of what their loved one with MS is needing to deal with. And finally, we all think we know how to talk and communicate with one another, but we can always improve on that. And support partners and participants both will be learning healthy ways to communicate the needs and make plans together so that relationships are improved and lifestyles are improved, and they're able to move forward. So it's a pretty great experience for the support partner.
Pat, I agree 100%.
Here, here.
Thanks so much. We'll shift gears just a little bit again and kind of move to the goal-setting piece of the program. What do we mean by the goal-setting component?
It's one thing to go through an experience, but it's another to take what you learn in the experience and then apply it to your own life. And as people go through this program, they say, that's something I'd really like to work on in my life. And so they identify areas that are important for them, and they want to say, when I leave this program, I want to do this. And so goals are set for the future, and they're very individual. I've seen goals as people leave, and people come in with goals of what they think they want. They leave with goals that now they're pretty sure they want. And but goals are meant to be achievable, so they're not just something that you dream up while you're in the program. They're something that there sort of is a beginning and a middle and an end, and once you achieve that goal, you make another goal, and you move forward and you move forward. And that's when we talk about helping people move forward in light of the fact that they have MS. That's what we're talking about.
And if I could add, I agree 100% with Pat. And I actually retired early, and I left a little percent on the table to take care of my wife. But after QandA, I really think that Luann and I have both been consciously working harder to not let this disease that she has and therefore I have affect us. And I mean, we're best friends. We deal with it. We get along with it. Sometimes when I have to lift her up, it's embarrassing to her. It's when I have to catheterize her, it's embarrassing to both of us. But we have learned that we have to deal with this. And I truly think that we're both stronger people because of this.
That's great. Kevin, what do you have to add about the goal-setting exercises?
Well, when I was at the program, I had some goals like Pat alluded to when I got there, but as I went through the different instructors and stuff, I did formulate some new goals, and I have achieved all of those. Some were under the weight control aspect because I'd been 355 pounds and I lost 165 pounds. A lot of that with help and things I learned from QandA. So I reached that goal, and then I set a new goal. I reached a goal to get more flexible in my legs and be able to walk better. I've accomplished that. I was almost in a wheelchair 4 years ago, and now I hardly even use a cane very much. So a lot of things like that. Yoga and Pilates instructor challenged me to do the Pilates and stuff, telling me that it would help my legs greatly. I didn't believe that a lot, but by the time I incorporated it into my workouts, my leg strength has gotten better. I'm more flexible than I've been in years. I don't have the leg cramps I used to have. So they're all goals that were set for me there that I've achieved. But like Pat said, you create new goals. What I find is when I accomplish something, that doesn't mean that's as far as I can go. That just means I know I can go at least that far. Now I can see how much farther I can go. There's always room for improvement. and there's always room to make new strides.
What's the next step?
Well, that's the easy part. We have a staff person dedicated to this program, and her name is Suzanne Vondrell, and you'll see that on your screen. And you'll see an email address for her as well as an 800 number. So you can just either email her or call the 800 number or go to our website. And when you go to the website, you'll be able to click on and find out more about our program there, and also how you can download the application and get started. So we would encourage anyone who thinks this is a good program for you to do that.
Great. And just some last closing comments. I'll open it up to Kevin and Dave just to kind of wrap up this webinar. Anything you want to add?
I sure would. There's just one statement I'd like to make, and this is really important to all you folks that are going to be listening to this. This program can and probably will change your life. It has changed mine forever. You have to be serious about how you approach this. You must be prepared to record your lectures and your different conversations with your doctors and professionals. It's very important. You'll use that information for the rest of your life. The whole thing will be a lot of fun, but it will also be a lot of work. You'll meet some awesome people, both patients and staff. You'll have 4 days to ask any question about MS that you could possibly want to. Any problem you may have, there will be a professional there to help you. You'll never have the opportunity to gain so much knowledge about MS and form bonds with people for life if you choose. It's changed the way I live my life. It has totally changed how I pictured my life heading. 2 years ago, I didn't care if I got up in the morning. Now I wake up wondering what I can do to help someone that day. Even though you have MS, you can still make a difference in someone's life. Believe it or not, it'll make you feel better. Remember, failure is not an option. We just must adapt and conquer. Make this QandA the experience be the beginning of the rest of your life. Thank you.
Wow, Kevin, that's a tough act to follow. Kevin and I, Kevin, Luann, and I actually became friends up there. We had a lot of meals together, and Kevin's speaking as a single man, and I'm speaking as a spouse of somebody who has MS, and she's had it for over 20 years, 22 years, and I tell a lot of people it was one of the most important weekends of our life. I mentioned before the divorce rate among couples who have MS is high, and I dearly love my wife, and absolutely QandA MS was an extremely important, powerful weekend for both of us. So you that are listening, all you folks out there, if you have MS or you have a loved one that has MS, I truly encourage you to look into this and to go to this, and there's help. I think that Luann and I absolutely improved after going to QandA MS.
Wow.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Dave, for sharing such personal experiences with us and everyone who's listening to and watching the webinar. I hope everyone got some great information out of this. And I just want to thank everyone who took the time to watch this QandA webinar with us today. We hope that it answered some of your questions, and now you're excited about applying to the QandA program. And just a reminder that to contact us with any additional questions if there were some that we didn't get to today, and let us know how we can help you get to the QandA program. So thank you.